Hello, I'm so glad you're here. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if this is your first time, I hope you'll join us every single week. I'm Dr. Rhoberta Shaler, and I want to prevent you from further pain. I want you to recognize what's happening, and what's happening may very well be abuse. You don't want to call it that. Nobody likes to think they're being abused, but we have to wake up and smell the herbal tea. Sometimes we are being abused. And if you're dating, you need to see the signs of potential abuse. Now, I've created lots of things for you. You'll find them at my website at FOR Relationship Help, HELP.com. And you can go to my YouTube channel, same name, For Relationship Help. So today I want to talk to you about 4 sneaky, though startling, signs that mean long-term relationship trouble. So whether you're dating or you're in a relationship and you're thinking it's going to get better, you really need to see these signs. So maybe you're dating and, he just seemed like your destiny, your soulmate, or she was all you ever wanted and more. And the chemistry, well, wow. How could anything that felt so good be so wrong? Likely because you're wearing rose-colored glasses and you just don't want to see those red flags. And then again, the drama. You noticed it. It started with small, just a few little slip-ups, a mean word here, broken promises there, glances that were daggers. Yet you see these as isolated incidences and you justify them away. Have you done that? Maybe you have. Good people do. I mean, of course, you think, this person's just having a bad moment. But when you really start to add them up, maybe there are too many bad moments. So are these red flags? Is this a pattern? Are you missing something? Good questions. So now you're on the right track. Keep in that mindset. Meanness and neglect and freakouts and put-downs or just generally self-centered behavior are all about taking control, gaining status, demonstrating power. Now that doesn't sound so appealing, does it? All of those can be signs of emotional danger. So you've got to rip off those rose-colored glasses because you really can't see red flags when you're wearing rose-colored glasses. So in my ebook series, Escaping the Hijackal Trap, I coined the term hijackals. And these are people who hijack relationships for their own purposes to relentlessly scavenge them for power, status, and control. And they need you to feed their needs. In fact, over time, they'll demand that you feed their needs. So you can easily see that finding someone who is longing to be or desperate to be in a relationship or to be in love is a perfect match, the perfect prey for a hijackal. Bingo! So that might have happened to you. It may be happening to you. Or if you're dating, you need to watch out that it doesn't happen to you. Because hijackals are emotionally dangerous people. And they fly these big red flags. So I'm going to share 4 of them with you today. Yes, in other podcasts, I've shared other dating red flags. But these 4, are very particular. And they may seem kind of, in the moment. But when you start looking at the patterns and the cycles, that's when you begin to wake up and say, hey, this is not good. Nor is it what we should expect in a normal relationship that has give and take. Because when you're in a relationship with a hijackal, it's all give on your part and it's all take on theirs. So let's talk about these 4 things. Number 1 is that they'll yell and scream and demand or threaten really early, really quickly in any argument. They want to dominate. They want to get control. They want to be on top of you. They don't want to hear you. And it's not about big issues only. It's about the small, insignificant ones too, because they have to win in order to feel like they're okay. So their emotions flare like flash floods. The hijackals' intent and their need, because it is a deep need, is to quickly win, to quickly take control, to quickly diminish or extinguish any thoughts that you might entertain about having rights or valid opinions or even reasonable logic. It's all about being right and winning for them. They need to be right and they need to win, and they'll go to any lengths to do so. They will lie. They will ignore. They will twist the facts. They will do anything. Now, on a compassionate note, it's their upbringing that made that true. We can have compassion for them, but remember, you've probably heard me say this before. You can have compassion, but you must learn to not condone or enable their behaviors. More on that in another podcast. So number one, they'll yell and scream and demand and threaten and jump up and down as wooden nickels quickly in any argument. Number two, they manipulate people and situations to their advantage, even when it's not important. Hijackals excel at manipulation, and they'll do anything to get their own way, because that's the only way, right? It's their way or the highway. It's always like that. They're hyper-vigilant. They're looking for anything that might look like them not being in control. They're going to grab it. So they'll go from seductive persuasion to cute, to coy, to charming, to childish. Or on the other side, they'll get angry, they'll be demanding, they'll erupt, they'll try to scare you. And then if that doesn't work, they will become demeaning and vindictive and threatening. And the next step after verbal abuse and emotional abuse often is physical abuse. You need to be on the lookout for that, because you don't want it to get to that place. So number two, they manipulate people and situations to their advantage, and they're good at it, and they're persistent at it. So watch out for that. And number three, hijackals always blame their partners for everything. A hijackal cannot be wrong, remember? So everything must be your fault. And hijackals also cannot and they will not take responsibility for their actions. They are not accountable. They are never wrong. Therefore, they have to blame everyone and everything. Yes, you, their families, the weather, the IRS, anything at all, for anything that goes wrong or sideways. Because it would be unthinkable for them to consider that they might be at fault or they might have made a mistake. It's not even a possibility, because that would mean that they were less than perfect. Now remember again, as I said earlier, they were raised this way because they're in complete fear that they're going to make a mistake. So they can't make a mistake. That's the way they feel. That's the way they have to think. And it's sad. It has nothing to do with you. You didn't make them that way. This is their early environment. You can't change them. You can't fix them. You can't love them out of it. You got that? You can't do it. So don't try. And you may be doubled over trying. Like, if only I could love this person enough, they would change. They would feel good. I could make up for their background. You cannot, because they don't want you to. Yes, at their deepest level, it's exactly what they need, but they can't entertain the idea that there's anything wrong with them, so therefore you can't help them. And that's a big thing to understand. You really have to understand that. So, number 3, as I said, they always blame their partners for everything, or their children for everything, or their co-workers for everything. Hijackals are everywhere, and they're always blaming everybody for everything. And that's because they cannot and they will not take responsibility for their actions. They are never wrong. Therefore, if you're never wrong as a hijackal, you have to blame everyone and everything. You just have to. So it's unthinkable for them to be wrong because they are fragile, emotionally fragile. So they've got to be vehemently denying the possibility that they could be anything less than wonderful or successful or even perfect. They just can't entertain the thought because that would just shatter them. So they insist that they're justified and rationalized, as well as, of course, being blameless. And they have to do this in order to survive. Now, I just can't say it enough. I know you're a good person, and I know you want to love them, and I know that you want to help them. They don't want your help. Because if they thought they needed your help, they'd have to think there's something wrong with them, and they're not going to have that thought. Therefore, they're going to blame you. You can't get it right. Get that straight. You can't get it right. They have to blame you. So number 3, they're always blaming their partners. And number 4, and this one won't be a stranger to you if you've ever met a hijackal, they turn on a dime in a second and almost with complete amnesia from one position to another. Have you experienced that? I bet you have if you're even listening to this podcast. Because if you've been with a hijackal or were raised by a hijackal or work with one or have suffered from one in any way, you know how quickly they can turn. They can be loving one moment and hateful the next. They can be seeming to listen to you and pounce on you. It's just so fast because they have to protect themselves. Always. It's about them and about their need to be right, to protect themselves from ever being thought of as anything less than perfect. So 1 minute with a hijackal, you're the best thing since sliced bread. Do say or even intimate that you don't agree with them, and all of a sudden, you're the scum of the earth. I know you've had that experience if you've been with a hijackal, because as soon as they were being nice to you, you thought, oh, how wonderful. You're so grateful for those few crumbs that they spend your way. And then you start to get hopeful. Oh, we're going to fix this. It's going to be good. It's going to be the person that I first met when they were charming and wonderful and manipulative, seductive, and exploitive. And you want to buy into it. And at that moment when they're telling you how wonderful you are, you want that to be the truth. It isn't the truth. Know that. Know that. It is a shell game. So 1 minute you're the best thing since sliced bread. The next minute you're the scum of the earth, and you always were. And you don't know when the switch is coming. That's no way to live. You don't want to be in an unpredictable situation that's predictably unpredictable. And all this goes along with the hijackals' need to be right in the moment, every moment, and with the necessity of winning. Therefore, they'll change their positions at any moment, turn on a dime in order to win. And 10 minutes later, they may reverse their position in order to win, and you'll still be wrong. So there are 2 words that emotionally dangerous folks do not relate to. And that's compromise and flexibility. So if you're with somebody or were raised by somebody, you work with somebody who doesn't know the meaning of compromise and flexibility, watch out. That's because they honestly believe that they could not continue breathing if things didn't turn out exactly as they want them, exactly when they want them. And that can change in a moment. But that's not because that they compromise or they're flexible. It's because they need to win in that next moment. So these red flags are flapping wildly in the breeze when you're being told, I love you in 1 minute and I hate you in the next. These relentlessly difficult people, these hijackals, are crazy making. So watch out. Whip off those rose-colored glasses. See what's really going on. Whether you're just looking at that in the dating world or you're looking at that person across the breakfast table and saying, I just have to shake my head because I don't understand why you are so difficult. So many things to know about these relentlessly difficult people, these chronically difficult people that I call hijackals. I hope this is helpful to you. Remember, go to forrelationshiphelp.com or go to my YouTube channel, For Relationship Help, and you can learn so many more things there. You can also go to my website, For Relationship Help, and you can submit a question you might want me to answer. So just go and have a look, or go to forrelationshiphelp.com/submit. And if you have a question, I'll happily answer it here. Until we talk again, make it a great day, stay strong, and play on your own team, because a hijackal certainly won't. I'm so glad you spent this time with me today. I hope you heard something that touched your heart and empowered you to move forward. You can have the life and relationships that you most want, and that begins with you, within you, today. I'm always here for you. Life can get better, and you heard that from me, the Relationship Help Doctor. I'm Rhoberta Shaler, and I work with clients throughout the world through video conferencing. We can talk. So learn more at forrelationshiphelp.com, forrelationshiphelp.com, or visit me on YouTube at For Relationship Help. Join me for next week's show.